D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So I watched last night the 13th episode of Superman and Lois, and I'm really happy this show is back. I think we only have 2 episodes left, 14 and 15, before the end of this season. And this episode was a lot better than last week's episode. I mean, there was a little bit more action in this one, I believe. It could have had a little bit more, but it was fine enough. I was very happy with it. I continue to love this show. I think that the writing on it is very good. And I think all the parents on it are really good too. Like they're all like doing the right thing and saying the right things. And it's like every time they get into a situation, I was like, oh, I wish I could be like that. I'm just like, hey, go sit in timeout. Like, and they have like meaningful conversations, and I'm like, oh, I wish I knew what to say. When I get mad, I'm just like, go sit in timeout. I'm upset. So anyways, it was very good. And we're starting to see a little bit more of Allie and her overall like parasite look. Now, she doesn't look like she does in the comic books, which is a little bit of a bummer to me. I wish she looked a little bit more because I love a good comic book accurate costume and everything, although hers really isn't a costume. But I'll settle for this one. It's just next season when they do the bad guy, they can't do this Superman like villain, because we got that in season 1 and season 2. That's again there, but we can't do it in season 3. We just can't. That's 3. That's too many. So I'm gonna get started on this breakdown of this episode, and I'll give you my thoughts as I go along. But before I get started on that, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So now that that's got out of the way, let's get started. All right, so it starts off with Allie, and it starts off 5 years earlier. And she's giving one of her little talks and everything because she's doing a book signing, and it's very small, and it's in this little this little bookshop and everything, and there's a tiny bit of a following and everything, and that's how cults start. Start out small, and then you grow and grow and grow. And she's going to sign a book, and it's Lucy, and she's like, Lucy, and she's like, who can I sign it out to? And she's like, Lucy Lane, and she's like very oh, what does she say? And she's like, yeah, my dad had a thing. Me and my sister were both LLs and everything. And that's the thing about DC is there's a lot of like Lex Luthor. And there was a couple other ones that I'm trying to think of. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but I was like, I don't know who did this, but or who thought of it, but they were very much into the LL initials. Anyways. So she's like, Lois Lane, and she's like, Lois Lane, Lucy and everything. She's like, Lois Lane. And she's like, is the writer? And she's like, yeah. And she's and then she's sitting here talking about how she's not special. Or she goes, when did you feel like you weren't special? And she's all like, oh, but you are special, and I'm going to make you realize that. And you can see, look, and the acting, by the way, on the show is very good. Like you can look at her face and how she goes from like, I'm not special to this glimmer of hope. Like I can help you see how special you are. And that also goes to show like the power of people that start up cults is they're just very much like, they have that silver tongue where they can just talk you into anything. And me, I always go like, I wouldn't believe this nonsense. Like, how could you fall for this nonsense? But it's like, they grab the most vulnerable and the weakest, and that's how they get you. So it's like, it's not that you couldn't do it, but when you're at your lowest, can you overcome these people, kind of people? And Lucy can't. She's obviously got some kind of depression. Yeah, at one point she does get a little whiny about it. And I'm like, we'll talk about it when we get to it. But so she's like sitting here telling her how, she can help her and all this stuff. Then we fast forward back to the present. I'm going to say it like it's the real world, even though it's not. It's all made up and everything. But you just calm it down, sister. So Allie's supporters are leaving. Some of them are just leaving. They're leaving this little compound. And she's like, wait, she's coming back. And she's like, she's been gone for a month and everything. And she's like, listen, so she's not coming back. And some of us just haven't realized it yet, talking about Lucy. And this woman and some of the followers leave and everything, and they drive away. And good for them. Yeah, they need to get out like now. And so back at the farm, Lois is hanging out while Clark is flying all over the world looking for Allie. And he obviously can't find her. And then he comes back to the farm. So then he's like, I can't find her. She went somewhere and everything. And oh gosh, sorry guys. And then she's like, she must have went back to Bizarro World. And he's like, I'm gonna go get her. And she's like, Clark, you can't go to Bizarro World. You know, she can steal your powers, and you're not exactly top notch right now. And with the red sun there, you're already weakened, so it will be like nothing. She'll just take him right off the bat. And he's like, yeah, good point. And then she's all like, you need to tell the boys about Lana Lang, LL. You need to tell them about Lana and the Cushings. And he's like, ah, crap. They're going to be upset. And she's like, yeah, but she made their decision. We need to talk to them about it. And he's like, yeah, they're just not going to be happy. So then back at the garage, which I would so not want to live here. I mean, I'm not judging people that live in garages like this as their home. I'm just saying I would not want to do it. Anyways, so she tries to get her dad to go to breakfast. And he's like, no, I got to figure this out and everything because, you know, got to stop Allie and stuff. And she's like, is there anything I can do to help? And he's all like, and I don't like that he dismissed. He's like, yeah, you know, I'll take a breakfast burrito. And I'm all like, don't send her to get the food. She helped you. And she does talk about it later on, but she helped him build that suit. And she's 15 now, but like, was she 15 on their world, you know? And how long was she in that little phantom realm and everything? So she's at 15. I wasn't building mech suits at 15. So come on. She can help out. And I understand he doesn't want her to fight and everything, but to help him try to figure out problems should not be a big deal for him. Like he's acting like her helping him figure out a situation in their little garage is like, oh no, you're gonna get attacked by Allie in our garage if you help me out with this problem. And I'm all like, yeah, she won't. So calm it down. I understand you know, you're playing Papa Bear, but you can calm it down. Anyways, so he's trying to figure out, and he's like, will you pull up the thing, the last system thing about the suits? And the computer's like, which suit? And he sees that there's two suits, and he's all like, oh no, she didn't. Z-snap. And back at the Cushings, Sarah is watching the video of her singing at the open mic night. And I just want to say right now, she's got a beautiful voice, but her song wasn't that great. Okay. I'm sorry. Truth suck and everything. So her mom comes, she's like, oh, that voice and everything. She's like, yeah, it's me on stage singing. She's like, shut up. It's you. Oh my gosh. You look great and everything. And she's like, you wrote this? She's like, yeah, I've been writing some songs to get me through all this stuff. And some of them suck, but this one was really good. I'm like, it really wasn't. I mean, was it though? I don't know. I don't know. So then she's like, when did you do this? She's like, last night, Dad took me to an open mic. And then she's like, is this the bar where the girl that banged your dad works at? And she's like, yeah, Manelli's, I think it was called. She's like, yeah, but she wasn't there. And she's like, no, this is inappropriate. And she gets mad. And I mean, I can see why, although she kind of gets like snippy with Sarah. And I'm like, hey, don't get snippy with Sarah. First off, she took the advantage of a situation that was beneficial to her, A, and B, she's a child, and C, it wasn't her fault. So, but she gave her like the look, like, you went with your dad to that whore's bar, that little whore and everything. That little scarlet witch of the devil. Anyway, so the boys are upset that they can't hang out with the Cushings like at all. Like Lana does not want them near her family because, and she makes a good point. She has to lie every time they're around, and she doesn't want they did this to her. Like they made it to where she has to lie, but what's his face is upset. Like he's all like, about, because he's still in love with Sarah, and I get it. He's upset. but you know, I at the same time I just go, what did you want them to do? That was something that she requested for them to stay away from them for the time being. And yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's just so so then they're sitting here talking, and then he's all like, to get us to the good news is to get us to stop thinking about the staying away from the Cushings. I'm sorry, you guys. My wife texted me something very important. I had to take care of it. Anyways, I should have paused it. I apologize. Please don't be mad at me. Okay, so he's like, we're gonna do chores, and they're all like, how is that the bright side? And I'm like, yeah, how's that bright side? And he's like, I used to love helping my dad do chores around here when I was a kid. And I'm like, yeah, with your superpowers, where it took you all of 10 minutes, like like get out of here. Yeah, I'd love it too if it only took me 10 minutes to oh, that Clark, he's a silly goose and everything. But anyway, so then back at the Gazette, Sophie is all like, here's what I have about Allie. And she's all like, thanks and everything. And then she does say, like, she's like, you know, you were keeping secrets from me and everything. And she's like Clark was on, he was looking at a story, and she's all like, why was he gone for, you said he was looking up a story and everything. And she's all like, and she lies, and she's like, he was looking up a story because he wants to work here, but he doesn't want you to hire him just because he's married to me. And she's like, are you serious and everything? She's like, well, what's the story? And before she gets to answer, Papa Lane walks in and he interrupts, which I was like, good, because I wonder what Lois would have said. But he's like, hey, you know, I got a fix from the DOD on Lucy. Let's go get her. And she's like, okay. And then Sophie's like, oh, I'm coming. And he's like, no, you're not. And she's all like, listen, she's like, I'm just as much a part of this as any of you. And he's like, this is a family matter. And she's like, I'm coming and everything. And he's like, all right, you can be the lookout. And Lois was like, yeah, Dad, she has earned the right to come and everything. He's like, all right. And then there's a lens flare. So back on Bizarro World, they're watching the news, and Allie supporters have come together. And this is Times Square. I've only been to Times Square once. It was pretty cool. But and then I wonder, I didn't get a screenshot of it, but the Eiffel Tower is like all on, like it's on top of each other. It was really weird. I was like, I don't know if I like that, but it's a Bizarre World, which is fine. It's like whatever. So they're all watching her, and she's like, we shall join the other Earth and everything. And I'm all like, okay, whatever. I mean, she looks cool and everything as a bad guy, but I just yeah, no more like I wish she just looked like the pink skin and like all like gnarly and stuff. Anyways, so then she comes home, and the dad finds the suit, and he's like, when were you going to tell me? And she's all like, well, I was sometime soon. I finished it last night. And he's all like, how could you build this? He's like, there's no way you're going to fight. And she's like, Dad, I am ready. And he's like, you're 15. Go. Cause she's like, I'm not a child. And he's like, you are 15. I was like, yeah, you are a child. Stop that. Why do, you know, and that's the thing about teenagers. I have 2 toddlers. And my daughter is just, she is a like such a knockoff the old block or whatever that saying is. Like, she is me to a T, and she's going to be difficult as shit. I'll tell you that. I'm not looking forward to that, because I'm like, man, I was like, me and her are going to get into it, and I hate it because she's my buddy, but like, it's just going to happen. Anyways, so, and he's like, how can you know, I can't let you fight. And she's like, I can do this kind of thing. And he's like, tear it down. And she's like, I don't destroy things and everything. She's like, meaning she only builds things. And so he's like, oh, he goes, am I going to have to destroy this, or are you going to destroy this, or do I have to? And she's like, I don't destroy things. So then back at the thing, they get there, and they tell Sophie to stay in the car. She's going to be the lookout. If I was Sophie, I would be like, I'm coming. You guys, I'm a grown adult. I'm not staying in this freaking car. Duh, dummies. And they're going in to get Lucy. So they go in, they're like, oh, this woman, I don't remember this woman, but they talked to her like they remembered her, like she was a character that was like special. But I'm like, I don't remember her, but it's fine. It doesn't even matter. Oh, I do remember her now. She worked at the DOD. Now I remember. Anyways, Lucy comes down, and she's like, why are you here? You don't even care about me. And she does this whole, okay, so the whole time she's like, Allie's the only one that cared about me. You guys never loved me. You guys never care. And I'm all like, and the thing is, like, I get it. I get what you're saying. But Lucy, stop being a whiny little bitch right now. Like, that's all you got is you guys never cared about me and everything. And she goes on later to do it. And I'm all like, listen, I got it. You've got something going on. You're going through a human experience. But at the same time, I go, you're the only thing you're doing to try to fix that human experience is join a cult and then whine about it. Like, and you're just saying the same thing over and over again, just a different way every time. And it's Lois never loved me. So he's all like, fine. So he handcuffs her to himself and he's like, I'm not leaving. Whatever happens is we're go through it together. Which I get it. He's being a dad, which I like that. I like that. He's being Papa Bear. I get it. Totally get it. So back at the farm, he's like, aren't you guys having fun kind of thing? But he's with Jonathan. Jordan's not there. He's talking to Jonathan. And I really wish they had given Jonathan powers. It's fine that they didn't, but I wish they both had powers. It'd be kind of cool. It's fine though. He doesn't have twins in the comic books. It's just Jonathan in the comic books, but it's fine. It's like whatever. So then he's sitting here talking about how he's kind of bummed because he doesn't know what to do now because he can never play sports again. And everybody hates him because of the whole drugs thing. But everybody hates him and he doesn't know what he's going to do because he can't play sports. And he's like, listen, he's like, we all make bad decisions, but it's not, and we're going to make bad decisions, but it's about what you do afterwards to like fix those mistakes and learn from your mistakes. It's very good advice. All the parents give good advice. It's kind of annoying because I don't know if as a parent, I don't know if I give good advice. Sometimes I feel like I give bad advice. I'm all like, I'm sorry. Anyways, so, and then he's all like, so he says something about Jordan and he's like, oh, hey, by the way, Jordan went to talk to Miss Cushing. So back at the mayor's office, he's like, Miss Cushing, he's like, she's like, she starts off the conversation very bitchy. Like she is straight up like, yo, did you get touched by the curse this month and everything? And he's like, I understand that you made this decision, but he's like, I love Sarah. I love her so much. Please let me be near her. And she's like, no. She's like, I know. And if Sarah knows your secret, it puts her in danger. And I cannot have that. She's like, so you have to stay away from my daughter and everything. And she's like, and she was kidnapped from, what was that kid's name? Tig, because she wanted to get to you. And he's like, yeah, but I can't remember what he's exactly said, but long story short, he was all like, please don't do this. And she's like, I'm doing this. But she makes a good point about the whole situation. That's the thing about like teenagers. I mean, kids are stupid. I mean, everybody wants to, I hate when I have 2 toddlers. I'm around little kids all the time and everybody's all like, oh, kids are smarter than you think. No, they're really not. They barely know where their nose is. And teenagers are the worst because they think they know everything. And I'm like, oh, do you? Do you know how to balance your checkbook? That's what I thought. Get out of my face. Anyways, and she realizes that she was a little too harsh on him. Like she was very angry for no reason. But she was just angry about, stuff. Anyways, so we flip back to the flashback. Sorry, this is taking forever. I'm gonna ramp it up. They go back to the flashback, and she's basically like, I'm gonna go talk to my sister and my dad and everything, to explain what's going on. And she's all like, but they're not gonna like it. She's like, listen, look, she's like, you're not living out of your suitcase. You're living in an apartment. You've got a job. You're doing better, and they should be happy with you about that. And she's basically like, oh, you're my only friend. You're the only person that's ever loved me and everything. So then back here, they go upstairs and she does her little, you never loved me, Lois bit all over again. And I mean, like, it's, and she's all like, she's sitting there and they go back to this part again. But I just want to touch on it now. This whole part, they're basically like, Lucy's all like, you never loved me, Lois. And Lois is all like, listen, I know I was harsh on you, but I was a kid raising a kid. I didn't know any better. I didn't know what else to do. I thought that that's what parents did. They were harsh on their kids. She's like, and I'm sorry that if I made you feel like I didn't love you. And I totally get that, because as a parent, if you're a parent, you know how it is sometimes you're harsh on your kids, but it's just because you think you're doing the right thing, and then later on you think about it and you're like, I was a little too harsh. I shouldn't have taken away their toys, because they sprued them out on the floor all over the place and then didn't clean them up after I told them like 4 times. This has happened plenty of times. And then, you take them away and you're like, you guys lose your toys for a week, and you lose the Legos for a week and everything. And then they're like, that's not fair. And you're like, life's not fair. And if you're my children, they come back at you with yes, it is. And I'm like, oh, you got some learning to do. Life is not fair. Anyways, so he's all bummed, and he's like, you heard our conversation. He's like, yeah. And he's like, even though I don't like it, she's right. And I can't remember what Clark says to him to make him feel better. But then he's like, come on, I got something for you. And so these guys are all getting groceries for the fire department. She's like, Dad, I need to talk to you. And he's singing her crappy song to these guys. And he's proud of his daughter. I'm sorry, I have a phlegm in my throat right now. I can't get it out. And she's like, can I talk to you? And he's like, listen. He's like, I was watching the video because I was so happy about it and everything. And Mom saw it, and she saw that we went to, that Hooers bar, the house of the harlot, of the devil. And she's upset. And she's like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's not your fault. He's like, it's not your fault. And you should be proud of yourself. And she should. And he's a proud dad. I'm really, I say this all the time, I'm really happy about the way that this show portrays fathers, because and I'm just, as a father, I'm so sick and tired of the bad dad trope that Hollywood keeps doing. And it's like, we're not all bad. Some of them, I feel like I'm at least a decent dad. And I feel like this show, everybody wants to talk about representation. I feel like this show represents me, because I'm not one of I didn't run out on my kids, and I'm here and I try my hardest. You can probably hear them in the background. I'm so sorry, you guys. I try to stay present, and I totally feel like that's how these dads are in this show, even though they've got other things going on like life. Anyways, he's like, I'll talk to her. Anyways, so then so he's all like, I'm sorry, you guys, and she's like, it's not you, Dad, it's Mom. She abandoned us, and this is where she's like, I'm sorry, if I made you feel like I didn't love you. And they're like, Dad, you may not have been around as much as you should have been, but at least you didn't abandon us like Mom did. Which I also just go, I don't understand people that abandon their kids. I really don't understand it. Like, it's so crazy to me. Anyways, and I usually would say no judgment, but lots of judgment. Like, kids are like, they're monsters, but they really are great. Anyways, so I can't remember what else they say in this part. I'm sorry. But that's pretty much what it is. Like, they're like, Dad, I don't blame you. You weren't there all the time like you should have been, but you didn't abandon us like Mom. Lois was all like, hey, I really am sorry. I was a kid raising a kid. I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. I didn't know better, And Lucy's all like, basically like, okay, yeah, you're right, and everything. So Allie comes back. They're like, Allie's back. And they're all like, oh, there's all 15 of them. And you can tell this was shot because of COVID, the way it was shot and everything, because it's like 15 people. They look somewhat 6 feet apart in the middle of the woods, And she's floaty. And then they go back to the Fortress of Solitude, which I wish the Fortress of Solitude looked a little bit better. One of you said in the comments from last season, or maybe this season, I can't remember, that of course it wouldn't look like the Superman movies with the crystals and everything, because they'd be able to see it like on GP, or not on GPS, on on Google Maps and everything. They'd be able to see it if it looked all fancy schmancy. And I'm like, oh, that's an excellent point. I just so sorry, you guys, I'm getting over something, but I kind of wish it just looked more like the Fortress of Solitude. Okay, back off. So they land there, and he's like, why did you bring me here? It's like, I'm going to start training you. He's like, this is where I learned to fly. He's like, you're going to catch me if I fall, if I don't make it right. He's like, we'll see, kind of thing. And so he's like, come on, you got this. So he jumps, but he falls, and he's like, oh, and everything. And he's like, come on, Jordan. And he starts flying. He's like, yeah, and everything. And he's like, yeah, and everything. And then he's coming in, he's hot, and he's like, he's not stopping. And then he grabs him. He's like, yeah. And then Allie's all like, they're like, you can't join the world's alley because the thing is broken, the prism thing. Oh, what's it called? It doesn't matter. She's like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's broken. She can't join the worlds. She's like, is this true? And she's like, I can. And she's all like, we don't need that. I can do it. And she needs like, I just need more power. And so back at the shop, he's having a hard time doing breaking down her new suit. And she realized the computer's like, she has and it's got a weird accent. I like the old robot accent better because this one's all like it's like I don't know what, but it's really thick and it's like what did it say and everything, but it's like it she added the polycoding polycoding using the kryptonite, and that's why it's hard to break apart. And I'm all like, what is that, a French accent? It's very phlegmy. So he's like, so he goes back and he's like, hey. He's all like, I can't remember. He says something along the lines of, I couldn't break it down. He's like, you knew I wasn't going to be able to break that down. And she's like, yeah, but you didn't give me a chance to explain. And she basically just says, she's like, listen, she's like, we already lost mom. We lost mom and we lost one world. I'm not going to lose this one either. I'm going to join in this fight, whether you like it or not. And she's like, the suit will protect me. And he's basically like, he's like, I guess I can't stop my baby girl from growing up, kind of thing. And they come to an agreement. And so then Kyle goes back to see Lana, and he's what he calls her nervous leg and everything. And she's like, she's upset because a lot of stuff is going on and she doesn't know how to handle it. And she snapped at Sarah, she snapped at Jordan, and he's all like, and I can't remember, and he's like, is it because of the bar thing? He's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, it's not because of that. And I can't remember what else she says, but he says, why don't we go and take the kids to the diner? He's like, it's not a date, it's a co-parenting, we'll discuss stuff and everything, and it will have a mature conversation kind of thing. And then he, as he's leaving, he sees this picture from her quinceanera of their family, and he's happy that she put that picture out. So then back at the thing, she's all like, "You're done, Allie. You ain't got nothing left." And she's like, "Call Superman now." And she's like, "No, I'm not gonna call Superman." And she's like, Lana, no, not Lana, Lucy. She's like, I'm the only one that's ever been here for you. The only one. They haven't been here for you. They hate you, kind of thing. She's like, she pulls out I forgot to mention, she took their little thing to call Superman when they first got there. I apologize. I'm sorry. I forgot that. And I didn't get a still of it. Sorry. And so the back of the barn, they come back. He's like, where were you guys? He's like, Dad took me to learn to teach me how to fly and everything. He's like, oh, great. So I've been back here doing the chores while you guys have been having fun. He's like, oh man, Jonathan. And he's like, no, it's cool. I'm gonna go shower. And I'm like, Jonathan gets the end of the shaft a lot in this show. I mean, just because he doesn't have powers and everything. I hope something happens to him where it kind of like levels up the playing field. Because, he had football, and then Jordan had to come and take that away. And now he doesn't have, any of that stuff kind of thing. So then he's all like, Lucy, give me the thing. And she's all like, Lucy, you don't want to do this. And then he goes to grab it from her, and Allie starts sucking the life out of him. Because that's the thing. She can not only the powers, but she sucks the life out of people. And that's the parasite thing. If you read the comic books, when they touched people, they suck out like everything, their life essence, and they leave them all Zorgified and everything. Anyways, so back at the barn, she calls Superman, and they're like, that's Grandpa's little communicator thing. So he flies off, he shows up, and she's like, please stop, Daddy. And then Superman comes in, and she starts taking his powers, and she's sucking life out of. She calls the DOD. Sophie calls the DOD. They get the call from their little their special box or whatever, and they're like, let's suit up, we need to go. She's sucking the powers out of him, and they're flying in, and she's sucking him off and everything, and they're flying in. He's like, you get Superman, I'll get Allie. And he throws his hammer at her, but she stops it, and then she sends it back, and it hits him. And I'm all like, whatever. I'm like, She's getting to do a lot of stuff, guys. And she's like, no, and everything. And this part, I was like, this, he's looking at the woman he loves, and before he dies, he's like, Lois. I thought he would say I love you, but he didn't get a chance to say that. And he claps, and she's like, yeah, good acting, by the way, going on here. She goes into, he's dead. Oh, he needs some milk. He's dead. She comes in and she does her defibrillator thing, which, you know, what gets me about a lot of these shows, and I'm no medical expert, but my wife works at a hospital, and every time we watch these shows, there's no heartbeat, and they use defibrillators to start their heartbeat back up. But it's something like you can't use a defibrillator on somebody that doesn't have a heartbeat. Like, that's not how it works, kind of thing. I might be wrong on that, but I think I'm right. I'm not a medical expert. Don't listen to me. Consult your doctor on any medical things. Okay. So he's like, do full charge and do it again. She does it. His heart comes back online. He picks him up. He's like, meet us at the DOD, Lois. And he flies away. And then she grabs her dad and she flies away. So we go back to the past, and Allie's all like, she's like, of course, Lois didn't accept what was going on. She like totally like hates you, Allie. And she's all like, listen, family is not who we're born with. It's who we choose to love. And she's like, I choose you, Allie. And she's like, I want you to know I would never do anything to hurt you, kind of thing. That's not verbatim, but I just can't remember exactly how it is. And look at the hope on her face. That's what gets me. It's like she's feeding. It's like she's a parasite right now. She's feeding on her weakness right now. And it's like, people like that are just, I can't, like, she's vulnerable right now. And you're just taking advantage of that. It's what a vomitous human being. I know it's not a real person, Matt. Anyways, so she's like, Dad, I almost lost you. He's like, it's going to take a little more than a life-sucking bitch to take me out, baby girl. And she's like, I love you. I'm so sorry. Superman. Okay. And then they do something right here. Because they can get his blood. And I hope that they haven't taken his powers away, because Superman doesn't have his powers for the rest of the season. Because I'll be kind of annoyed. I'm not going to lie. I don't want that. I don't like it. I want Superman to have powers. Now, if he's just taken out of commission for an episode, okay, that's fine by me. But if he doesn't have powers for the rest of the season / starting next season, I'm going to be annoyed. I don't like it. I don't like powerless Superman. None of that. So they're having dinner and they're talking everything, and they're talking about her next performance and everything, and they're just having a good time. She comes in and she explains what happened with Superman, that he's alive, but he might not have powers anymore. And then Allie she's like, I want you to go kill the Superman on the other Earth. She's like, I will kill him, Allie. And she's like, I'm going to join the two worlds together. And then she's in the in-between the two worlds. And she goes all like Tron right here with her little, like, techno color glow. And she starts doing her electricity, her little Periarium Incantatum, and she starts pulling the worlds together. This is very Pink Floydian looking. Anyways, so she starts pulling the two little gates together. They almost like a butthole. Anyways, she starts pulling them together, and then that's the end of the episode. And me, I'm all like, ooh, this is good. It's so good. Like, I really enjoyed this show. It's really good. Like I feel like they touch on all of the things that we want to see. They touch on the emotional, and they touch on the physical as far as the fight sequences go. And it's just really, in my opinion, top notch. Like, I love this show. People, I have talked to people that don't like this show. They're like, oh, it sucks. And I'm like, explain to me how it sucks. And their whole thing is like, oh, it's corny. And I'm all like, really? Is it corny? I don't think it's like I can get past soap opera-ness when it comes to TV shows, but I don't think this show's got that, in my opinion. I think it's not soap opera-y. But I'm all like, hey, listen, I'm a kind of person, like, if you don't like it, I get it, but I think you're wrong. This show is very good. I think that the writing on it is good. I think the acting is good. I think the fight sequences are good. When they do fight sequences, the visual effects are not Hollywood movie level good, but I think that it's top tier level when it comes to TV special effects. So I think like when Jordan was flying and he was all like wobbling around, that was very like, never ending story, 1980, whatever. But I did, or it did look very much like Superman from 79, but whatever, it's fine. But yeah, I like the show. This episode's very good. I'm very curious to see where they go from here. What are they going to do with the melding of these two worlds? Are they going to kind of do it and then it's going to break off again? Or then they're going to close the portal? Is Allie going to be completely destroyed? And if not, where is she going to go? Is she going to go in the prison like Tal Rowe and everything? It's very much up in the air, and I'm very interested to see where they go from here for the next episode and the rest of the season, because we only got 2 episodes left. Like I said before, I'm just very interested to see where they go. All right, you guys, that is my breakdown and review of this episode. Tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? What was your favorite part? Where do you think this is going? Yeah, tell me what you guys thought. All right, go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. I won't mind if you do my channel. Please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next Superman and Lois breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.